Hello, Arjun.
And hello to you.
I have a personal question.
Oh, personal,
about
okay.
my life. I'm a little bit shy.
Okay. You're choosing to be.
Okay, thanks. When I wake up in the morning, I am confused about where I am in time and space, and if I'm very old. And it takes me quite a few moments to piece together who I am and where I am and why. And I feel like I'm not fully incarnated into my being or inhabiting my body. My legs feel a bit numb, and I am sort of looking at the world as if it's like a dream, like moving through it. My teachers used to say "tu es dans la lune," which means like you're in the moon.
Okay.
And I was just wondering if there's any advice on how to fully inhabit my body so I can walk through the world with conviction and feel like I have a home.
Who says that when you wake up in that way, you're not fully inhabiting your body? You see what you're doing here? You're pasting a judgment, a value judgment, on the physical sensation of your legs, in this sense, as you just mentioned, being numb. Do you understand? Who says that that particular sensation of numbness isn't adding to the way you have chosen to explore this incarnation and that particular moment of transition from focused in the non-physical so much more on the blueprint level and way beyond the moon even, to the more focused physical exploration that you've chosen to embody in this incarnation? Who says that that isn't part of your game? Well,
Nobody said that.
well, you do.
I said it.
And because you do, you create a separation.
Yeah.
As if this is not ought to be that way. As if you are not fully completing, in a sense, your quote-unquote mission or beingness. You're not embodying it because your body doesn't quote-unquote do what everybody else says it ought to. But do you know how many people need a little moment in the morning to understand where they are, to remember, in a sense, what agreement they had chosen to dive into in this incarnation? You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Does that help already a little bit?
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I felt like I didn't have a dharma or a purpose, but and just I'm here to collect experience.
If you really did not have, let's say, if you really did not bring an additional thread to the weaving of the web in this particular dimensional creation, as you are co-creating it right now, trust us, you would not be here.
Cool. Cool, thank you so much.
So every time you feel tingly and confused while waking, that's exactly what you're choosing to experience in this moment. But. By having this particular experience, which you understand intuitively, and from reflections from your surroundings, isn't necessarily the rule, yes? By having this experience and speaking about it, you help people in your environment who are rather new to the idea of their own multidimensionality to tune in with that. Because as you share, you lay a pathway out for them to tune in with the frequency energy that you bring along in that moment of waking up and feeling dazed and confused.
Great.
But there's a lot of power there, because you could say, a little bit like the idea of the yin-yang symbol, you are familiar with this. If you would pinpoint your focus directly in the center of it, you could say you are in a sort of neutral zone, right? That is where you wake up. Now, a lot of people find this a scary idea, and as you just shared with us, in a sense, you put a similar, not exactly frightened, but a similar value judgment on this yourself. That's not something you came up with, it's something you adopted from comparing yourself and your path to the environment and the consensus, right?
Yes.
So, that shows you it's not in alignment with your true, natural, unique core beingness, correct? You now understand that, you can see that, right?
Yes.
Now, if you share from that energy frequency of knowing this with a capital K, You bring other people, you could say, the introduction of the possibility of this being okay in their life. Because you're bringing it, you're communicating it in a way that feels self-confident. I know who I am, and I understand that in the moment of that transition, I feel a little bit wobbly. And I may physically feel wobbly, but I know that it's part of my journey. I'm embracing it, I love it. And paradoxically, perhaps because you start to love it so very much, maybe you will even start to look forward to those moments. And maybe they may even disappear. Because they no longer function, you could say, as the messenger that they have been providing for you up until now. Which has a lot to do in your particular case, as we are reading your energy, with the belief systems connected to the idea of fully landing here on Earth. In this Earth game. And because that is one of your themes that you're exploring, you have around you, gathered around you, magnetized into your environment, family and friends, people who have a similar curiosity that are quite open to information coming from you about that topic. Do you understand?
Yes.
So when you give yourself permission to fully and with self-confidence speak about these things, you begin to trigger things in them so that they can allow themselves without fear to move into, to allow themselves into such an in-between state, such a neutral zone, a little bit more often, if they so desire. Because you've laid out a pathway for them, telling them it's okay. Look, I've had this experience, I found it scary first too, perhaps a little bit. But now I feel this way about it, and so can you. You see?
I do.
And this is very tightly weaving in with your particular personal path of exploration as we are tuning in with you now. That has a lot to do with building bridges between realities and communicating in between.
Beautiful.
Do you understand? Yes. We thank you so much.
Thank you so much.